to today's training. We're going to be talking about getting your emails read in this video. The time-tested, tried and true methods for getting your emails read and open. This is essential for anyone that wants to build a full-time income from their list efforts. If you want to get those messages out to your list, you need to figure out how to get them opened and read. It's not really as difficult as you may think. We're going to cover quite a bit here today, but there's going to be two keys that I really want you to pay attention to, and as soon as when I get to those, I'll really make you aware of them, because those keys are very important to getting those emails read. Email marketing. Will your email ever get read? That is probably one of the biggest questions, and that's something that you need to be worried about. The biggest complaint we hear is my inbox is crammed full of hundreds of emails every day because I am on so many lists. I don't even know which ones to read. When you get people that are saying these kind of things, what's happening is they're not reading nothing. They don't know which ones to open, and what that's saying is that they're not on a list of of marketers that are very good, because those marketers are not doing a good job of getting those emails seen by the readers. Everything is just looking the same. So you want to stand out above the rest of the crowd that is sending these emails. In order to get good at writing emails that get open, you have to practice. Practice rewriting successful emails that come to your inbox. So this is something that I would suggest you do. Find emails that come to your inbox that look really good, that really you can relate to. You open up and you're just kind of like, wow, that was good. Practice rewriting that email. Write the thing, basically type it out word for word in a text pad, a notepad, whatever. Type the thing out word for word so that you can just practice writing those emails and getting used to what those emails say. As you write them, and it takes on a little bit different than just reading them. As you're actually typing out those words, you're paying more attention to them, and start seeing what's added into there, the scarcity and different things that are there, the different psychological things to email marketing. When you start typing them out, it takes on something new in your mind than just actually reading them. So find good emails and practice writing those successful emails out. Even if you were just to write it out on a sheet of paper on there, just taking the time to actually write it or type it out. All right, getting your emails delivered. Email deliverability is about ensuring requested opt-in email is delivered to the intended recipient. Use permission marketing, use the double opt-in feature. So basically what you're looking for is to get people opted in, double opted in, saying, yes, it is okay for you to send me emails. This is going to be one of the biggest steps for you to get them delivered, is getting the permission to send them in the first place. Once you have that permission, it's easier to get that email delivered to the inbox. Ask for real or primary email addresses on your squeeze page. So when you got your squeeze page set up, instead of just saying put in your name and email, ask for your first name and ask for a real, and use these words, real or primary email address. Because what this does, it puts in the mind of the reader who might have wanted to put a bogus email in there just to put something in there because they know that it works. Maybe they got an email set up that just for different things like this. But it puts in their mind, I was like, oh, to be able to get this, I'm going to have to put in my real one or primary one. Everybody's not going to go for this, but it does do a little bit better job of getting the real email. And when you have the real emails, you're going to have a better job of getting them delivered. Message formatting and text or HTML is going to depend a lot on what happens. Some of these other companies like AOL and Yahoo and something like this, you're going to want to maybe focus more on the text instead of the HTML to make sure that it gets delivered. Your HTML is going to have different things like banners and videos and photos and things like this that might get marked as spam. So consider your text or HTML and who it is going out to. Limit uses of images. Avoid creating messages that are entirely images. Use images sparingly, if at all. Sometimes you might choose not to use them at all. Otherwise, for branding purposes, you might want to use your company logo or something like that. But don't just load this thing up full of banners and graphics and all of that kind of stuff. Use them to, sparingly, have your logo, maybe a picture of you, something like that. Or if you don't have that, maybe you have in a banner or just a video or something. But just be careful of the use of images. Careful use of using attachments. Many users are wary of attached documents due to viruses. They associate an attachment with a virus. Be careful about using them. If you limit them from your emails, you're going to have a better job getting them delivered. Use a website URL to reduce recipient fear of attachments. So what I'm saying, instead of having an attachment, you basically upload whatever you want them to download to your server and then give them the link for them to click on and save it at, because that's something that they're going to not be quite as leery of. Words and phrases you choose. Choose your language carefully when creating email messages. Avoid spam hot buttons such as dealing with medications, mortgages, making money. That's kind of a hard one with the making money online niche, but got to be careful. The free offer. And words associated with pornography and stuff like that are going to be captured and basically end up in spam. So be careful with the words and phrases you choose. So why do your emails not get read? There's several different emails. Or different reasons of why they might not get read. It might be several different ones, or it might just be one or two. You have to really be looking at your emails and really taking a good look to find out exactly what you might be doing wrong. But here's some suggestions that you can look at. One of them, it might have an ineffective subject line. That is one of the most important things to your email, is that subject line. It's the first thing that's seen except for the from line. It's got to be relevant and it has to be compelling. So basically, this comes down to making sure that you have a good targeted list, and the subject lines that you're sending out to have to be relevant to that reader. It has to make sense as something that they would want to open in the first place, and also be compelling. Maybe brings up some curiosity or something or answer some questions, and we'll get into some of that here in just a minute. Maybe it was bad timing. Experiment by sending your campaign on different days and times. A lot of times sending out on Tuesday and Wednesdays is the best, or Tuesday and Thursday. Sometimes you can, depends on who you are, sending out on a Sunday might basically get you a lot of mail back saying, please don't send to me on Sundays. A lot of people don't read it. Maybe a Saturday, everybody's busy and they're not around reading their email because they've had a long week at work. So just experiment. A lot of people might be opening up during their lunch break at lunch, and that's the only time they have access to email. So be thinking about who your customers are and the times, and be checking to see which ones work best. List fatigue. Sending your campaigns too frequently or not being consistent creates a list that is fatigued, where basically you just bombard them all the time with campaigns. They finally they get tired of it. They just don't want to see it no more, so they don't open your emails. Or maybe you're not being consistent enough, so they basically go to sleep on you and they don't realize who you are. Poor list quality. If you're using a very old list, many addresses have probably gone bad. Keep refreshing your list. So that's why it's so important to continual list building. Not just grow a list and stop, but to continually be list building and refreshing that with brand new names and emails. Maybe you have poor list segmentation. You don't know who's actually on your list and what they've done. The email must be relevant. So if you're sending an email out promoting a product to somebody that's already bought that product, that's not going to be something that's relevant. It's going to frustrate them. If somebody else if they've bought that product already, they're not going to want that email again. So you need to set up your list so that you segment them so you know who has done what on your list. Optimize email with list segmentation. Know who is on your list and what they are doing. Know the buyer's behaviors. This helps decide frequency and type of messages that you're going to be sending out. Maybe your content just plain sucks. If you're not providing compelling content, people aren't going to open it. They don't just want to hear from you, they want something useful from them. They're not just interested in hearing all about your life story all the time. They want good, useful content that really adds value to them in what's going on. So if you're going to be telling your stories of the day, be able to relate that to something that the main part of the message. Maybe like an example of, maybe you went out for a run that day or something and you want to remind them of, you're going to be talking about something about traffic, and maybe you ran down this road that had no traffic, but you could see the traffic up ahead. So you relate the run, and go in to bring it in and lead in 2 talking about the traffic and stuff that you were running in and how to get traffic to your sites. How you maybe chose to not run into the traffic because you knew you'd be safer, and just be able to figure out a way to relate your happenings during the day to the subject at hand. Spam filters may be mistakenly throwing emails into people's junk folders. This happens all the time, and this is probably one of the reasons you don't want to use your email, for basically sending, for doing your support, because a lot of times it gets sent to junk filters and stuff like that. So basically, these are some reasons why your emails might not be getting read. Those are some things to consider if you feel that you're having a hard time getting those emails opened up. So let's talk about getting your emails read. And the first couple things I want to talk about are probably the most important things that if you get these right, some of these other things we're going to be talking about are not going to be as relevant. They're still going to be something you need to focus on, but you're going to have an easier job at it. The first one is to deliver good, relevant content first and foremost. Focus on value. If you are known for somebody that sends emails when they open it up and it's always good, relevant content, you focus on the value to that reader, they're going to get used to you sending that, and they're going to be looking for your email, and everything else, the subject line and everything, they're basically going to look at the from line, see who it's from, and they're going to say, oh, it's from that guy there, that lady there, they always deliver good value. I'm just going to open it just because of the from field. They didn't care about the subject line. They didn't care about anything else. That they just opened it because they knew you were always sending good content. The next one is consistency. You're consistent in getting that message out there so they know when to look for you. You don't go for a week or two and then maybe forget them for 3 weeks or a month or whatever. You're consistent on sending them a message and delivering value to them. They're going to get used to seeing your email. They're going to get used to looking for it. They're going to expect it. They're going to expect good quality and good value. And when you get these two right, then it's going to be much easier to do everything else that goes along with email marketing. Create email content that does not reflect your urge to sell the product and make money. Your reader, of course, knows this. They know that you're trying to sell something to them, but they want to see content that reflects your concern for his or her needs and demands. They want to see that first and foremost, you're concerned about their needs. And if they can see that, they're going to realize that the things that you're trying to sell to them are going to help meet their needs and their wants. They're not against buying from you. They just don't want it to come across as that's all you're trying to do is take their money. Keep your emails concise as possible. Emails usually allow you to write any length as you wish. I mean, you can write page after page after page after page if you want, but that doesn't mean that you write a whole encyclopedia on your subject. You just write what needs to be in that email to get the action that you require. Keep them concise as possible. Have a single goal for each email you write. Keep your email tightly focused and on one subject. I've seen some emails go out there, and there's a few people I can think of in particular that we're not going to go into names, but they will send out an email to their list, and that will be the most unfocused email. They'll start out talking about one thing and the next thing, and they'll say, and also so-and-so has this product, and also there's this one, and by the way, you're invited to this event, and the list goes on throughout the email. And if you give your readers too many choices in the email, they're probably not going to take any of them. They're really not going to know what your focus was on that. You need to be able to stay tightly focused. Just have one single goal for it. If it's to promote a product, focus on that product and then get off of it. Send the email. Don't sit there and recommend another 100 things for them to possibly do in that one email. Answer the reader's questions. What's in it for me? To read your email as quickly as possible. You need to do that as quickly as possible within either the subject line or the very first few lines of that email. You need to make them realize it's almost like having that headline. They've got to quickly see what's in it for them to continue reading that email. Learn to write killer emails that arouse the curiosity of the reader. So they're curious. The subject line is a great place to put that curiosity, where they're curious as to what's going on and they open that email. Pay attention and test to see what day people are more receptive to your email communications, like we talked about. Provide a clear image of what you are offering. You want to be able to do your best at painting a picture as you write these emails of what your offer is. To be able to paint that picture inside the mind of those reading it so they can clearly tell what's going on. Eliminate risk to customers is something in your emails. If you can eliminate the risk, at your maybe you're promoting something and it's got a guarantee, let them know the guarantee. Providing value. If they know that you're always providing value, that's one of the things they're already going to see as, this person only provides value to me. I know that it's probably something that I need. There's limited risk to me for taking action. And like I was saying at the beginning of when we started talking about this, providing value on a consistent basis gets that reader used to that, and they, some of these different things that we're talking about, like eliminating risk and things like that, are not as hard, and you don't have to be your main focus because they're already seeing that there's less risk involved. Use urgency and scarcity if you can in your emails to get them to take action on the action steps that you're asking them to take. Use social proof. Clear, concise call to action. Your email should have a specific action that reader should take. Make it clear and concise. Specific instruction prompting the reader to take specific action. Maybe it's going to a sales page, going to your blog to read a message. You should always be asking your reader to do some kind of action. Not just sending them out something just to read that day. It should require them to do action. You need to train them to do what you want them to do at specific times. If it's nothing more than setting up a blog post and sending out an email to get them to go to that blog post, just comment. And if you want them to do that, tell them you want them to comment. Lay out exactly what you want the recipients of your message to do. Draft emails appropriately. Pay close attention to the design of your emails to run a highly effective email marketing campaign. Here's some things that you really need to focus on. First and foremost, your from field and your subject line are going to be the first two things that they see. Focus on personalization. And now be careful about personalization all the way through the email. You can overdo it. You're probably going to want to maybe just focus on that first. Hello, their name, or dear, or hey, or whatever kind of language they're used to hearing from you, and then their name. Maybe once in a while throughout the email where it makes sense, you can add that personalization where it adds their name in. Be very careful with that. A lot of times we'll personalize the subject line, which is a good place to do that, unless it's taking up room for words that you could be putting in there to get them to open that. It might be more effective to use better words in that subject line, or a couple more words, than actually adding in their name to it. So message content, focus on your message content. Make sure it's good, relevant content, adding a lot of value. Your link placement. A lot of times you'll see emails that are just loaded with links everywhere. Click, you don't got time, click here. The next couple paragraphs, click, click, click. Be careful about it. Where it makes sense, put the link. Maybe it's only going to be one link in there for them to take action on. Maybe it's going to make sense to put it in there 2 or 3 places. Just read the email. If it doesn't make sense for you to click on that link at the time when you're reading it, it's not going to make sense to them. Have a good call to action. Focus on your call to action. Focus on the close of your email. As you're coming down, and a lot of times you'll see a lot of people when they'll brand it with to your success or whatever it is down there. That's something that you want to focus on so that they get used to seeing as well. And then the PS, where you go back over something important or whatever. Once again, a PS is always a good thing to add in there, just to get them to reiterate a fact and to get them to take action. Test different versions of your email marketing message to compare outcomes. You always want to be testing. Maybe one version you test it against another one to see which one gets a better open rate, and then you stick with the one that does the best. Or maybe then you do another one and test it against that one. But test different versions of your email marketing message to find out what is really working. Test the days that you send it out, the times of the day you send it out, different subject lines, the content. maybe your link placement, a better call to action. Test everything out. Email branding. Why is email branding important? You want to make an impression on people, but one of the things that you need to think about is consistency of branding when you're sending them out. People are busy, and having a good branding element enables its message to stand out or differentiate your email in the recipient's crowded inbox. Imagine your inbox that is just full of all of these emails. Which ones do you notice? A lot of times you go to specific from fields to see who they're from first, and if it's from somebody like, and trust, delivers a good value, and all the time they're consistent, that's who you're going to open up first above anything else. But also, good branding enables its message to stand out or differentiate your email in recipient's crowded inbox. Your emails present an opportunity to expand your company's image and awareness while demonstrating your professionalism. A lot of times a good branded email really comes across as being professional. It'll really help your company's image, and that's what you want to do. But one of the best things that's going to help your company's image, again, is going to be delivering consistent, good value to your reader every time they open up the email. Your email speaks volumes about you, the owner, and the image you are trying to portray. Now, this one is really important. First impression and consistency in your branding is vitally important. That first impression that they see is going to be good. You want it nice and clean and concise, and something pleasing so that it makes a good first impression. But then consistency in your branding. Continue to keep that consistency. If you start out with something and your email reader gets used to it, and all of a sudden you decide to change. Let's say you start out, you basically have branded your name and they're used to that, and all of a sudden you decide to brand toward your company. I've seen this happen several times where the marketer will use their name, and then they decide that, I want a business that I can sell later on, so I'm going to brand it toward my company instead of my name. I'm going to take my name out of there. Well, your list might not recognize you anymore because you just switched from your name to the company that they're not used to seeing, or maybe they don't like the new brand, and it puts a different image in their mind of who you might be. So consistency is something that really is important, because a lot of the times changing midstream is going to be something that is going to cause a lot of problems. So make sure that when you start out, that you make sure that you plan it out from the very beginning and know the direction you want to head. Mind your subject line. Your subject line and from fields are probably the two most important things that you are going to get that are going to drive the open rate. Basically what it's saying is who it's from, which is your from field, and what's in it for me to open this email up. These are your two main factors that drive the open rate, except for your email being known for having good value. But that's going to be where this from field is going to be the most important, because they're just looking for you. The most important part of any email promo is the subject line. The subject of an email can make or break the purpose of the email campaign. When you push send, you are given only one shot using the few words that you are able to put into your email subject line to catch the interest of your target audience. This is like the headline of your squeeze page or your sales page. When somebody shows up there, you have a very few seconds to basically capture their attention and get them to open up and start reading. A good subject line will tell people what your email is about or what it will teach them, but without giving away its contents. This is called a blind subject line, where basically it's not giving away everything that's in it, but it's going to tell them what it's all about and what it's going to teach them. It's going to tell them basically what's in it for them to open up this email. And this is what you want to do. We're going to go over here in a few minutes over some different subject lines that you can use, different types of subject lines that are good at getting open rates. But two reasons to use branded subject lines. We want to talk about this first. Subject lines that are recognition factors. This may be they have your name in it in the subject line, or your company's name in the subject line, as well as maybe the from field. would be a transactional message from you. So basically somebody just bought your product or signed up for a subscription or something. Basically your example might be your business name, subscription renewal confirmation, or something like that. You have an excellent reputation for always delivering useful value content. Your main priority may be to ensure people recognize your emails. If you're used to if people are used to seeing you, they're, just delivering good content, you have an excellent reputation. You might want to focus your subject line on just getting you, where you got your from and your subject line are saying, here I am, open now. All right, here's some email subject line examples. An example of a blind subject line, like we were talking about earlier: simple method of increasing squeeze page conversions. You're basically telling them what they're about to find. They're going to discover simple methods of increasing their squeeze page conversions. And of course, hopefully the people that you're sending this to are going to be interested in learning these conversion methods. It's not telling them everything they're going to find out. It's not telling them the methods. It's just telling them that basically they're going to learn how to get their squeeze page to convert better. A subject line can ask a question to which your recipients have a burning desire to learn the answer to. And this is where you got to research to know these kind of things. Or you have a list and they're telling you, some of these questions. One of the things would be like, would you like to increase your squeeze page conversions by 20%? Well, who wouldn't? But you're asking them in a form of a question, where up there was basically a simple method of increasing squeeze page conversions. Now you're asking a question. Would you like to increase your squeeze page conversions by 20%? And they're thinking in their mind, well, yes. Well, let me go read to find out how they're going to do this. Subject lines that command action from the reader. You can say, act now to save 25% off my new product release. People like to save money. So you're basically giving them a command to basically act now. Tell your readers that the email contains information that will show them how to do something they need to do, basically teaching them. So you could say 5 ways to increase email marketing efficiency. And again, these need to be relevant to those that are reading them. So make sure that it's going out to people that are interested in increasing email marketing efficiency. Create scarcity and urgency in your subject line. Opening the doors again, but only for 48 hours. You're telling them that you're opening the doors to your product launch or whatever it is, but they only have 48 hours to act, so they better do it now. Breaking news as your subject. Like, if you're just doing a project, you've led them up to the product launch and you are now live, you just said, we just went live, go now. Now here you've kind of added 2 different ones. You're breaking news that you're live, but you also gave them a command as well in this one, go now. So you can also use, a couple of these different ones in the same subject line. You don't have to just stick to one. You could create scarcity and urgency and then give them a command, the breaking news, the teaching something. You can mix and match some of these as well. Increase your email open rates using subject lines that promise a benefit, such as easily increase squeeze page conversions by 20%. You're giving the benefit of them opening the email is that they're going to learn how to increase the squeeze page conversion. So you're talking about the benefit. All right, your from field is your recognition factor. The from field is at times the most important factor motivating your subscribers to open emails. People are more likely to open an email from a sender they recognize, especially if you are somebody that has won them over and they know you're delivering high quality content on a consistent basis. Basically you've won their trust. They just love you. They're looking for you. This is sometimes the most important factor motivating somebody to open up their email. Keep the from field the same over time. This is like your branding. If you change it midstream, if they don't recognize you, if they get used to seeing your name and you change it to your company name or something different, they might not recognize who it is and not open it. They might have, if they'd have known who it was, they were looking for you, but they didn't recognize it, and so they didn't open it. If you're just starting out, your open rates may be low because you're unknown. As you develop email relationships, keep the from name the same over time so you can benefit from the brand you've built thus far. This should improve your open rate. So if you're just getting started, if your customers don't know you yet, they're going to have to learn to know you, like you, and trust you. So over time, your open rate should improve if you basically build that credibility, be known for somebody that's consistently delivering value. That from field is going to be very important. At the very beginning, it's not going to be as important because they're not going to know you yet. But as you build your business, create those relationships, your from field is going to be very important. Work on know you, like you, and trust you, like we were just talking about, and that's where the from field is going to be probably the most important thing that you can have in your email. All right, I want to thank you for attending this training. Writing emails takes practice. It's not just something that you're going to be good at overnight. Some people are very good at writing, and others it's going to take some practice. I gave you a strategy of basically finding good emails, just writing them and typing them out, just word for word like they are, getting used to writing those kind of words, getting used to typing and writing the language of your niche that you're in. Just practice them, and that's what it's going to take. Watch what others are doing and learn from the best. So when you see others that are doing a good job, learn from them. Watch what they're doing. Watch how they write their emails, what they include in there. Start to get to recognize different things, such as them using scarcity, removing risk, different things like that they're putting in there. Some of the psychology of your email marketing. Learn to recognize those things and get good at doing them yourself. Being known for providing high value to subscribers and being consistent will get you farther than anything else that you can do. Once you have a list, it is simply time to get at it. Learn to do it right from the start, and you too will succeed.